Okay.
There it goes. Okay.
I'll be the home of the recording for now. That's fine. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Amy Jackson. I'm the Central Texas IDA Regional Manager. And Art, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, Art Snyder, Amarillo, Texas. I'm the Panhandle Regional Director and Coordinator for IDA. And we've put together this presentation this evening. And I just want to say up front that probably we're preaching to the choir in a lot of ways. A lot of you already have been thinking in these areas and doing this, but you know, let us kind of go through the whole process, and then you can at any time, maybe toward the end for sure, tell us what you do that we haven't mentioned, right?
Yes. So the main ideas for tonight, or we want to go over how to do a presentation and show everybody resources for presentations that they can give, that you can give in your own communities. So we're going to review some of the amazing resources on the IDA Texas website, because there's so many, and we'll just kind of review a very small fraction of them. So please feel free to visit the website again and don't stop looking, because there's a lot to uncover there. And then we're going to show some hands-on demonstrative ways you can, hands-on activities, ways you can demonstrate light pollution and light shielding. And then we'll just quickly go over, well, who do you even make these presentations to? And give you some ideas for that, and then get input from everybody as to any ideas of presentations that they've given. Like Frank just mentioned, he just gave a wonderful presentation to a different group. And we'll open discussion and questions from y'all about that and anything that you'd like to share in this topic. Okay. So I'm going to start with something that I think most of you have all seen, but some of you may not have seen it. And we're going to start with the IDA Texas website. So let me share my screen here. And I see some more people that just joined. If you're a new member and you just joined, do you mind introducing yourself? Is anybody a new member that just joined the meeting? Yeah, okay. All right. We'll have another round of people that join, they can introduce themselves. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And let's just start with the IDA Texas website. And a lot of you probably seen this before, but one really strong way to make a presentation that's impactful to your audience is to show a really eye-catching video. And Cindy did a lot of work to make this video happen. And it's on the very first page of the website. So it's easy to find and you can watch it right there. She's working on getting it downloaded. So it could be a resource that you can download to show on your computer.
Let me give it my comment on this was I do some night sky programs with telescopes, but prior to that, before it gets dark, we kind of go through video PowerPoint of what we're going to look at. And this is a very powerful kind of an introduction to kind of get the group, no matter who they are, kind of geared up and excited about the night sky. So using this as kind of the beginning in a class or at a presentation or whatever, really gets you know, you started.
I agree. So we're going to watch it. It's about 2 minutes long and I'm going to play it right now. Wait, let me make it full screen here.
I am the night sky. My stars are bright and tiny sparks, diamonds in the sky. I'm in the songs and stories of childhood. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Good night, moon. My whirling clouds, bright crescent moon, made Starry Night Van Gogh's timeless masterpiece. I am the night sky. I have amazed and inspired you and enlarged your perspective, guided travelers by land and by sea, wrapped you into my universe, made you part of the big picture. Listen, there is so much more to me than beauty, mystery, and awesomeness. Life on Earth depends on natural darkness. People, animals, and plants no longer have the darkness they need to survive and to thrive. What happened? Before artificial lights and glowing screens, you watched the stars, courted by the light of the silvery moon, savored peaceful nights of slumber. Now you no longer see me as clearly, if you see me at all. Now many children never see the stars. Our human lights change the world for sea turtles, fireflies, songbirds, and frogs, even for the lowly dung beetle. Life on Earth truly depends on natural darkness. I am the night sky. I miss our cosmic connection, our late night talks. I miss your many wishes cast upon my stars. And I know you miss me too. The good news is I'm still here, as big and beautiful as ever, waiting for you to look up and see me clearly once more.
Nicely done.
So good. Sorry, y'all, I forgot I'm sharing my screen and I can't answer the chat at the same time. That totally came up. I was like, no. I apologize for that. We're gonna, hey, Art, maybe you can man the chat, and Cindy, if y'all want, maybe y'all can man the chat. I'm sad. I usually like to do that. I can't do it now.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. You okay? I got it.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna get people to introduce themselves at the end again if they didn't do it at the front. of the
Okay,
presentation.
that sounds like a good plan. And welcome if you're new. We're glad that you're here. Okay, so that's an amazing video to show for sure. And there's another video and there's another set of videos, and we're going to show you where those are located on the IDA website. So we're going to go over here now. If you click here on Common Sense Solutions and Resources, I'm going to click on that. And it'll take a second. It's going to come up. And there's a lot of resources, but I'm not going to go over all these right now. So I'm going to scroll down slowly so I don't get anybody vertigo. And we're going to look all the way down here under resources. And if you look on the right, there's websites and videos. So there's a lot more than we're showing you tonight, but one in particular that I've shown to schools and kids and for all kinds of different reasons is Losing the Dark. And it's been around for a while, but it's a couple minutes long. We're going to watch it because I'm not sure if all of you've seen the video, and it does a really good job summing up light pollution and all the issues with it. So we're going to watch that one really quick. And this takes us right to the IDA link from darksky.org from the main IDA website on their YouTube channel.
And this was developed as a planetarium program.
That's right. I forgot about that. All right, let's watch it.
We live on the surface of a planet, spinning on its axis once every 24 hours. Its rhythms of day and night are embedded in the biological makeup of all life. During the day, we bathe in the glow of the sun. As night approaches, darkness takes over. It's a time to rest, to rejuvenate, to marvel at the beauty of the night. Until just over a century ago, our night skies were very dark. Now, even the wilderness is invaded by light. Our cities glow at night. Buildings are lit up. Unshielded lights blind us as we travel along our streets and roads. All these artificial lights overpower the darkness. The waste of energy is obvious, even from space. Much of that yellow glare the astronauts see comes from streetlights. They produce most of the light pollution on the planet. The glare is scattered by the atmosphere, creating sky glows over the landscape. We are losing the dark of night at the speed of light. Light pollution threatens the health of every living thing on Earth. Lights at night disrupt plant growth. Unshielded lights contribute to the deaths of countless land and sea animals each year. Migrating birds crash into illuminated buildings. Newly hatched sea turtles mistake the glow of electric lights for the shimmer of the ocean's surface. Bright lights at night also directly affect humans. Drivers and pedestrians temporarily blinded by poorly designed lights have suffered tragic accidents. Light pollution poses a silent threat to our health. Exposure to light at night disrupts the circadian rhythms that regulate our sleep cycles. People working at night under bright lights or living in light-polluted cities face a higher risk of developing diseases such as breast and prostate cancer. Here is a night sky with typical light pollution. On a good night, only the brighter stars and planets pierce the glow. This is what the night sky might look like if we could remove the light pollution. That faint band of light stretching across the sky is the Milky Way, our home galaxy. Because of light pollution, many people have never seen it. Astronomers know all too well the problems caused by lighting up the night. They need clear, dark skies to study the many fascinating objects in the universe. Light pollution simply washes out their view of the cosmos. Lighting up the night sky wastes money and fossil fuels. To keep a 100-watt light bulb turned on every night for a year takes the equivalent energy output from burning half a ton of coal. Multiplied by the billions of lights blazing up from Earth, the cost of energy we use to light up the night is colossal. While lighting is needed, there are some simple things we can do to ensure that it's neighborhood-friendly, energy-efficient, and helps preserve dark skies. We can replace light fixtures that send light up to the sky with ones that direct light down, exactly where we want it. They're called fully shielded fixtures. We can also illuminate only the places that need it. And of course, we can just turn off unnecessary lights. These are smart ways to use lighting. They offer simple solutions to problems caused by light pollution. We have a choice between wasting resources by sending light to the sky or learning to use light more responsibly. Light pollution is a problem each of us can help solve. Together, we can bring back the dark of night to planet Earth.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for watching that. I want to add to that really quickly that if you, and we'll talk about this later, working with school districts and schools, the inflatable planetariums, and some schools have their own fixed planetarium. They can show this, there's a planetarium version of this too. Now, I'm not sure how to get that, so let me look into that, because I used to do planetarium shows, and I'll have to look into that. Art, maybe you know, so we can.
Well, if you click on it, it has a version for planetarium
Oh,
or flat screen. It's already on it.
oh, you're
somewhere.
right. Oh, you're
It-
right. You're right. Well,
Yeah.
perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, do we have any questions, or do we need to answer anybody's chats at this point?
Say something.
Let's see. Okay, somebody's already used this at Martha. Jamie and I have used this at Wimberley at the Blue Hole Star Party on it's one of our favorites. You're right. Okay, good.
And we've also, I have an old-fashioned Star Lab that does not have the flat screen.
Right.
And I have simply taken a computer inside the Star Lab and called up the video
Mhm.
and played it on the curved screen. And it sort of was like a mini IMAX.
Right.
It worked really
Sure.
well.
That's great.
Yeah, most places you go, a school or a classroom or a presentation area will have a large projector and a big screen already available for you. So
Yep.
that's why we're suggesting that we use Losing the Dark or I Am the Night Sky is kind of the introductory process of going into this presentation concept of why we need to protect the sky, the night sky.
So there's a few other videos, and we're not going to look at all of them. We're not going to watch them all, but Art and I
Right.
wanted to make you aware of them. So I'm going to share my screen again really quickly and show you quickly the darksky.org, the IDA main website.
Right.
And if you go here, there's a logo, and you can look over here in these tabs, click on light pollution, and don't click on these yet, but just click on light pollution, and you'll see the Losing the Dark flat screen version there.
Mhm.
But if you go over here too, you can go under these categories, and there's separate short videos for not all, but most of them. And these are also really interesting, and we just invite you to come check them out. Let me go back here. I like the lighting, crime and safety one.
Mhm.
This is really great, actually. People talk about how, well, it's not safe, so we need our lights at night. And this is a really good video to show why it's actually less safe to have glaring light in your face at night. There's also, I don't think Energy Waste has one. I think Human Health has one, but I will let you guys go and look at those. So this is another resource, and you can link to YouTube here. You can just watch them on their website.
And under resources, there's stuff. What was under resources again? We over here. Far
That
right.
was, I think that was, you were gonna talk about PowerPoints and resources. So I
Yep.
guess I could point them over there, but you go ahead, and Art's gonna share a little bit about, well, where can you get PowerPoints that are already made so you don't have to reinvent the wheel and completely make your own from scratch. You can, I'll let Art talk about that.
Okay. So let me go to my
Whoops. Do
sharing
you
of this.
want to
Go
share
ahead.
your screen, Art?
I'm going to try.
Okay, let me stop sharing mine.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Make sure I can find it. I click out. Need to get out of that. Okay. I'm over here. And this PowerPoint is available to you again on the darksky.org site. And you possibly, some of you already used this, but here's what I like to recommend. It's pretty cool because it's already set up for you to, number one, look at what audience you're going to provide it for. How you want to tailor it to the particular audience, whether it's a school group, a young group, adults, Kiwanis, Lions, college group or whatever. And if you leave it in the mode here of not going to the slideshow, then as you click on each of these, it allows you to, number one, introduce yourself, which, you know, I have done here. I put my little logo in. And then as you go on to the next one, the cool part of the presentation is it kind of alerts you or provides you with some suggested comments, you know, share the story, talk about the darkness and all of that good stuff. So I'm not saying you have to use this, but in other words, you just don't get the slides and you have to make up what you're going to say. It's already there suggested for you in terms of what to do. For example, in this one, we look at light pollution, and the whole concept of light pollution is there are three categories, you know, they're outlined for you: sky glow, glare, and light trespass. So if you went, for example, back to the presentation, this is the way it would look, right? You wouldn't have all the cheat notes in essence at the very bottom. If you want to go back to that, you just go end the show and you're right back to looking at each of these particular slides. Now, a quick comment about sky glow. First of all, even if you're in the darkest place of the planet Earth, where there are no artificial lights, the sky is not dark because the charges of high energy from the sun slamming into the Earth's atmosphere at night provide a constant background or sky glow as well. That's not mentioned here. This particular sky glow is from the city of Tucson, Arizona to the right. And as you already know, you've all experienced this. Any large city will wipe out the sky. You know, I've been to New York and other places. Pretty well all you can see there's the moon. Maybe you could see Jupiter, but it's impossible to do astronomy in a big city. And then when you go to a city of a few 100,000 or 100,000, that's still not good enough. You still can't see, for example, the North Star in Amarillo. It's hard to see. And so the farther away you get, of course, you lose the sky glow, but there's still a dome of light off in that particular direction. Say you wanted to see a galaxy through a telescope or whatever. Well, this would, impede or not allow you to do that because of the sky glow. Right. So sky glow is an important concept that has to deal with the cities. Now, the glare is kind of a cool one. I like to demonstrate. Now, everybody's had a problem with light at night, particularly folks like me that get older. Man, those headlights blasting into your eyeballs at night really create havoc. They just wipe your vision basically out. And so one of the ways to demonstrate that is a couple of things. This is an older variety mag light. You can see it here, everybody, right? And so as I direct it to the camera, you can see the glare right there is wiping my face out quite nicely, similar to the glare that you see here in the slide. So my point is, this is a hands-on activity that while you're doing this for a group, depending on who it is, you pull out your light, make it a big mag light if you want, or whatever, to show how devastating this is, and how important, if you take some shielding, how you wipe that out. All right, there it is. There it isn't. So we'll talk about shielding again and all that, but I know Amy and I are both in the same category here of like to show stuff, especially since we're used to dealing with young kids, as small and as old as 4 or 5-year-olds, I've done this with. So they need something to look at. So keep all that in mind. And of course, this was an interesting one. I had light trespass at one of my locations. I was trying to use my telescope, and doggone if my neighbor didn't have a mercury vapor light shining right into my area where I was using my telescope. And so I called the power company, because that's what you're supposed to do. I called the local power company. I said, I have light trespass at this particular address. What can you do about that? And they said, well, yeah, we can take care of that. And so in about a week, a guy comes with a lift truck and goes up to the mercury vapor lamp, takes out a black spray can and sprays the light. That did it. Okay. Excuse the phone, but that's basically how it was taken care of. All right. Let my phone get done. All right. So light trespass is an issue. It's something you can legally pursue if you want. But basically, you don't want to get into trouble with your neighbors, right? So don't get into a fight with your neighbors about light trespass. But it really bugs you if it's shining into your window at night, you can't sleep, or you have one of those electronic billboards. They're the worst, shining into your house. Okay, talk more about that. The consequences of light pollution. I'll speed this up. Ecological impact. And by the way, you can put your own notes in here if you like, as well. Yes, go ahead.
When you move your head to the side, we lose the microphone.
Oh, you do? All right. Can you hear me now?
That's fine now. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm getting too excited. All right. So you have the notes that you can add here as you wish. So one of the things that you saw in the video was the sea turtles. That's a great example of how they can't find their way back into the ocean due to the fact that we have lights on street lamps or porch lights or whatever. They're looking for the shimmering light of starlight and moonlight on the water. And birds, that's another one. This PowerPoint is quite good for showing specific things that the video didn't show that you can elaborate on at your will. You can talk a lot about it, or you don't have to basically, go into all the business here, like 100 million to 1 billion birds die from collision with buildings in North America each year. That's a staggering little bit of information. That's not even talking about the ones that run into the wind turbines and anything else. Trees, well, I didn't quite know this one, but trees which are getting a constant light process are affected by leaves that may drop early or not drop early, or whatever the case is. Anyways, this tree is affected by the light pollution, budding earlier and losing its leaves later in the year. All right, energy waste, well, we're all aware of that. There are numbers that you can look at here, spit out by the billions of dollars and billions of tons of coal. If you want to emphasize all that good stuff, you would. Maybe if you're at a Kiwanis or a other type of an adult a group, maybe a college class, and you wouldn't really talk too much about that to fifth graders, but you would mention something about energy, basically loss. Okay. Certainly human health is a big one. Within human health, we have a circadian rhythm, day and night cycle. If we get off of that, it's not good for our health, because we have a hormone in our brain, melatonin, that helps us sleep on a regular basis. And one of the big problems that we face, and you and I and everyone has it, is we look too much at screen time. And screens, televisions, iPhones, and computer screens have wavelengths that are in the blue portion of the spectrum, which is the worst to bother us, in terms of the sleep cycle and the melatonin. So all this good stuff is kind of mentioned here in the little description. Okay. Certainly there's a heritage, with the night sky that we're all interested in. It inspires, as you saw in the movie, paintings, music, theater, arts, you name it. I bet there isn't a person here in this group that hasn't gone out in a dark sky situation and looked out and just marveled at the fantastic beauty and wonder and size of the universe. And it just really grabs you if you think about it. All right. And you have to do that to really get appreciation how through history that's occurred, and it still works on us today. All right, so I did the mag light activity, but this shows you again, this is where you can get the mag light out and do the bit with the glare and the shielding of the light. And then the other one that I have that's a little different to talk about color and spectrum is you can take a mag light like this and place a diffraction grating in front of it, and depending on how I hold it, you can see that there is a continuous spectrum being produced. All right, if I come back, it's a little better right there. And this can be used to kind of show the colors of the sun or the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all the colors that are present within our star. All right. And then you can refer to the fact that, well, some stars have more red light, so they're redder. Others have more blue light, so they're bluer. And of course, that relates to temperature as well. Excuse me a sec. All right. So I'm not trying to give you a full lesson on all this, but I think this is one of the better ways of talking about light and light pollution. Now, again, in the movie, this is brought out, but and here you can present it very quickly to show that there's a guy right here in the shadow. You can't see him because of the glare of the dumb light. The light is creating the problem. Take away the light. How you do that? Well, you put your hand up like there, and you see it. You see the person. So the proper lighting should not be shooting out like a wall pack. It should be shooting downward. And that's the whole business of light pollution. It's the wrong type of light. It's not shielded. It's the wrong temperature, and it's also possibly the wrong color. So all of those things go into having, the right kind of lighting process. So I want to bring this one up. So I'll go to from the beginning here. Oh darn, I didn't want to do that. Let me go to end of the show. And I wanted to bring that one back up. Hang on a minute. I lost myself. Okay, slideshow to the current slide, because this one goes through a nice sequence of showing you what happens every few years. Isn't that terrible? All right. This is light pollution increasing at 2% per year. 1950, 1970, 1997, 2025. We might as well pack up our telescopes. Right? That's just, this is why this PowerPoint is a real good thing to kind of deal with. And it's good for lots of different audiences. And you can put in your own, this says you can put in your own basic locality. You can go to a map and put in the light pollution map, which is found on a Clear Sky Clock is where it's at. And it actually gives you light pollution around your particular town and shows you, whether you're Bortle 2, 3, 4, 1, or whatever your Bortle rating is, which is the dark sky rating that's used in IDA and astronomy. So that's done by this guy. Now that ought to be, somebody we know, but it's not. Should be Gordon. That's Gordon there. It's not really Gordon, but Gordon has meters all over the place, sky quality meters in various parks, and we use those to help get the value for how dark the sky is looking up, not out, but up, so that they can come up with a good set of data for the applications that they make. All right. So this is a staggering figure. 2 out of 10 people on the whole planet Earth. Think of that. That's 80% of the world cannot see the Milky Way. All right. Because they're living in polluted skies. So if you ask, children and youngsters these days, have you seen the Milky Way? They'll say no, for the most part, because nobody's taking them out to a dark sky location, and they're going away, as you saw on that map, all the time. So this is why it's so important for us, the IDA, to really go ahead and perpetuate the concept of saving the dark, saving the night sky, saving the stars, and also the ecology of the planet. That just refers to, in 1994, they had an earthquake, and guess what? All the lights went out and everybody could see the sky. They were amazed that they could see all the stuff in California when there was a power outage. Same thing happened in Canada or in 84 and whatever, when there's a power outage that occurred. All right. So we can make a difference, and we can do that real quickly with the proper lighting, the proper shielding, the proper color, and all of this goes into all that bit. Here's your temperatures. We want to be below actually 2700 Kelvin temperature, and I like the description that Gordon uses. Why, that's a bug light. a bug light, just a simple bug light stuck into a filament with a shield gives you this, and you're doing what we need in terms of a lower wattage bulb, the color, and the temperature, right? The other thing that this shows is, yes, they're shielding the light, but don't forget that the light hits the ground and then bounces back up. So we're actually seeing the freeways and all of the other parking lots and whatever being lit up, even though they have maybe proper lighting. But this is light intensity that's coming up from the ground. Intensity warrants us to use the proper shielding, but also minimizing the amount of light we need. As you know, the simplest idea of all of this to keep things dark is just turn off your light if you don't need it, which most of us don't seem to do. We just turn on the light and leave it run all night when I guess we just want to attract the bugs or whatever we're doing. So we need to be more aware of conservation, shielding, lighting, all of that. And this is why this presentation can be tailored to whatever group you want to prepare it for. And it works really good. And then at the end, you see, you can put your own logo in, your name, your contact information, whatever. I hope I didn't take too long on that, but in my opinion, this is one of the real good things you can use to adapt to whatever audience you is. I use it in colleges, I use it in classes, and I use it, say, at some star parties when I go, and guess what? It's cloudy. So now what do? You got 40 people there, 50 people there, and they want something. So I give them a presentation. How's that? Any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing. Frank, I bet you've used some of that.
Yes,
Thank you, Art.
definitely.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Thank you.
it's really nice to have that already made.
Ready to go.
Really great resources. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things I emphasized in my presentation that's been talked about so many times is that we can save money with more intelligent use of light. But I also focused on how we can make money through a new form of tourism called Astro Tourism. And one doesn't have to go drive 8 hours to Big Bend. There are places, as we know, within Central Texas, Hill Country, that are striving to do this.
Right.
So I think that's another important element of talking to folks about light pollution.
Exactly. I agree with you. You don't have to go to the darkest place on earth to enjoy, a lot of the sky. You can be from Amarillo, we can go to Paladero Canyon, which is 30 miles away. We drop down into the canyon and it shields the light dome from Amarillo, and we have a great sky. So, there's lots of things like that.
Yeah, I had the same experience at Caprock Canyon State Park
Exactly.
this summer. It was just fantastic at night.
Yeah, great.
So we have a couple more things to show y'all. And one of them, Art demonstrated a little bit of the light shielding demo. And I love your demo because it's so simple. You just get a mag light, take the top off, and put a cup over it. That's awesome. And I saw that and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and show them the design a light shield activity. And then there's another PowerPoint resource on the IDA Texas website. And we're going to look at that really quick. And I just tapped Cindy on the shoulder. And since she knows that one so well, I asked her to just show that really quickly to y'all so you can know that that's there for you too. And then we'll go ahead and talk about, well, where can you even do these presentations? Who should you present to and how do you connect with those people? And we'll do a little brainstorming. You guys can help us add to that list of who should see these presentations and how do you contact them? So let me get, I'm going to share my screen with you now. Okay. So if you are working with really all ages, this is an activity that I did for the Texas Night Sky Festival. Oh, go ahead, Cindy. You said Amy.
That wasn't me.
Oh, that sounded like you. I'm sorry. Did anybody need to say something? I swear I heard somebody. Okay. I'm making it up. That's fine. I do that. So I made this activity for the Night Sky Festival. It's on my website in an organized fashion that communicates it and shows you photos. And I have links to this written up. So if you're an educator, and if you're not an educator, we all are educators actually doing this. So everyone's an educator. I'm going to show you the activity really quick. And I made a short video, and I'm going to show you another place where the video exists. And there's a whole nother set of curriculum. And I'll talk about that in a moment too, that you have resources to that you can use. And it's amazing. It's on the IDA Texas website as well. But here's just my short little blog post. And this was a while ago, but I've been doing this activity for a while. And these are with Girl Scouts and at a different school. But the main idea is that I kind of made it an engineering challenge where the kids are given a certain set of materials and they design their own light shield in an environment that I set up. So I'm going to show you this quick video, and it's me explaining the activity, and my children are the guinea pigs. They're the kids in the video. And I'll show you where you can download the activity too. Hi, my name is Amy Jackson, and I'm the director of Starry Sky Austin. I'm also the Central Texas Regional Manager for the Texas chapter of the International Dark Sky Association. Most of us live in cities surrounded by artificial light at night, and we call this light pollution. I live in Austin, Texas, and behind me is a photo of the downtown city of Austin skyline at night. Most of our nighttime lighting shines light up to the sky, not to the ground where it's needed most. This causes light pollution, which negatively impacts wildlife and humans, causes dangerous glare, wastes electricity, and decreases the visibility of our star-filled night sky. Shielding helps. This pedestrian downtown can see where she's going a lot better with a light shining to the ground where it's needed most. I'm going to show you an activity called Design a Light Shield, where you use materials you find in your house to understand the concept of shielding lights. These are some of the materials we're going to use today to design our light shields: cardboard, popsicle sticks, straws, pipe cleaners, some tape, scissors, aluminum foil, and a glue gun. To demonstrate the Design a Light Shield activity, I have my 3 daughters here, June, Kaylin, and Piper, and they're going to show you how they make their light shields. Something else you need for this activity is a flashlight, and this will serve as your model street light, which you can test your light shield out on. Another way I like to introduce this activity is to limit the amount of materials that you have, so you can be really creative in designing your light shield. Ready, set, design your light shield.
I was just testing out how it would sit there. Okay, so this is my light shield, and it has this that goes over this, and then it shines down. So I first took a pipe cleaner and spun it up, and then put it on the inside of a bent down piece of foil, and then made sure it just perfectly fit on. And then it shines down the light instead of up into the sky.
This Design a Light Shield activity is an engaging way to teach the concept of light shielding and light pollution. And Kaylin, Piper, and June all design their light shields to shine the light down to the ground where it's needed instead of up to the night sky. To learn more about how you can preserve our night sky, visit www.idatexas.org. Okay.
Very good, very good.
So thanks for watching that. I wasn't sure if I was going to show the whole thing, but it really explains it all in one go. So you got to see it. Along with that, and I'll send a link to my webpage. It has where you can download the activity. Hold on. Okay, sorry. You can download the activity guide and it'll tell you the materials list and kind of set the stage for how to talk about it. And also give you some more links that you can look at there. So I'll put that link in the chat. Okay. We have 2 more things to show you all. Oh, you know what? That's a great segue for this. So I get to share my screen again. 1 second here. Okay. So back to the IDA Texas website. And if you go to the top and click on online learning, and I know some of you already know about this, but Emma Schmidt, Cindy's awesome granddaughter, did her Gold Award, her Girl Scout Gold Award project. And it was, she created online curriculum for light pollution, to educate about light pollution. And it's called Fight for the Stars, Be a Knight for the Night. She did a presentation, a last IDA meeting presentation about it. And I think it's probably under our recording, Cindy, but y'all could look at that. But I just want to show you where to find her curriculum. There's 2 levels of her curriculum. And this explains it really well here and sums it up, but I'm just going to tell you really quick a little bit about it. They can be self-led or led by a teacher, led by anybody here, volunteer. There's 2 levels, one's for elementary level students and the other's for middle school ages to adults. The elementary level culminates with participating in the Globe at Night Citizen Science Project. If you haven't heard of that or participated, it's super fun. It's a great way to engage your audience and engage people to go outside at night and measure light pollution and contribute to a really great project. The level 2 culminates in participating in a to prepare a lighting inventory, assessment, and retrofit plan and cost analysis. So that's more geared towards middle school to adults. And this is all the curriculum here. You can download the handouts. There's a welcome video, and these are all videos. The video I showed you, I believe might be here, lesson 1, level 4. I think that's, or level 1, I'm sorry, lesson 4, I think. But these are all videos, and Emma does demonstrations, and the entire curriculum for each level is here that you can download. So this is a really great resource for you to share with teachers, with your school districts, with private schools, with Girl Scout groups. It's really endless.
And if I could add, I did a workshop for the Texas Master Naturalists this past weekend about this and how you can use the entire curriculum, or depending on your time constraints, you can pull out activities from it, or you can do pieces of it. And gave an example where 3 of us had an hour and a half on 3 consecutive days, which was not enough time to do all of this, but we used part of the videos. And anyway, I'm gonna re-record that because that video is not available publicly. It's only if you registered for that convention. I'm gonna re-record that little workshop and put it on the site so people can see, how to go about compressing it if they need to. But it's a great one to use in full. And IDA has asked about them putting it on their website as they are making some changes up there. But they also have given Emma a Rising Star Award for creating it.
Yes, I was about to mention that, Cindy.
No,
that's great.
Grandma has to say it.
I know, right? You're right. You're right. You're the proud grandma. Yeah, congratulations to Emma. That's so wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to share one more thing, and I don't know, Cindy, if you want to go over it really quickly. I guess we got to do it kind of brief.
I can do it. I can do it really fast.
Okay.
May I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, what I'm going to show you is not the PowerPoint itself, but the facilitator's guide back on the IDA website on that resources chart that Amy already showed, Amy and Art. If you look on the left-hand side, there are PowerPoints of varying lengths, but there's also this facilitator's guide. You know, if you're comfortable and have done a lot of presentations, then you can pick up that IDA one and make it yours and go. This one can help you get your feet wet with it, where for every slide, you have this guide. You know, you have a separate PowerPoint file, but you as facilitator have this guide where for every slide, it tells you, this is what you say. This is what you might ask, you know, to get some dialogue going. And you know, additional things to say. So for every slide, you have good comments, you have, you know, things you can tell people. So it walks you through how to present it. So I think, especially for people who haven't been doing a lot of presentations, that might be a good help to start with. There's also on, and I'll do a different share because I don't have this one up, but on the, let me go to the, over to, while it comes up, I'll get.
I am the night.
It started the video again. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to go to resources again, common sense solutions and resources. And one of the presentations, I don't know if you guys have had this issue, but have you ever been given like, oh, you get X number of minutes? There is a video a presentation here, and the video of me doing it, I never had that, you know, in where I was given 7 minutes, and literally if I didn't finish in 7 minutes, I'd get the hook because it was a tight schedule all day long. And I've had people say, oh my God, how do I introduce dark skies and light pollution to a group in, you know, just a few minutes? Well, there's an example for you. So, okay, I'll get off. And did that do what you wanted, Amy? Where?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. We wanted to show them that, so I appreciate you going over that very much. Did we leave out anything, Art? I'm looking at my list here.
Well, just the fact that who could be your audience, you know, it might be scouts, it might be school group, it might be Lions Club and all of that. In my particular case, I've had experience with the regional service centers where they've asked to do some programs or presentations for teachers. And if you're ever in a situation where you do that or are asked to do that, then you really want to rely on all these activities because the teachers might be a 6th grade group of teachers or 8th grade teachers or, you know, whatever grade, and you can adapt it using all the information that we've kind of shown that we have.
Dawn, has her hand raised, Art. I'm going to call on Dawn.
Sure.
I wanted to just add in a couple of notes from my experience of discussing night sky preservation and light pollution with arenas where it might not be as common. One of the areas is, for instance, if you're working with folks that are hunters or own land, right. Which is a lot of folks in the hill country here, emphasizing that, the benefits that we've discussed and that are in most presentations, but also addressing the fact that by having light diminished on their property or utilizing red lights more, it's actually going to make it easier for them to hunt. So some of us may not be into hunting, I'm not personally, but it's an area where you might have to have that conversation with landowners or people that own large swaths of land for hunting purposes. The other one is if you're dealing with industrial facilities or large scale corporate sites. I used to work in workers' compensation and risk management at UT, and addressing the fact that improper lighting and improperly shielded lighting is a safety hazard. So making their lights night sky friendly also makes them safer, and also has the potential for decreasing slip, trips, and falls, which the bottom line for them usually means lower workers' compensation rates from their underwriters. And that's always a huge winning point when working with businesses and industry. So just a couple of things to note.
Yeah, always know your audience.
That's a very good point.
May I say something?
You bet.
In case anyone needs it, I think one thing we're short on is police endorsement of the kind of lighting we want. At my website, we've got, even though it's not widely publicized, our police chief changed the wording in the burglary prevention brochure to use soft shielded lighting pointed downward for best visual efficacy. So that brochure can be printed out. And I also noticed the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, I found, has rather awkwardly worded lighting, but again, they talk about how glare they talk about creating a wall of light behind which a criminal can hide behind. And they mention a 40-watt light might be as good as a 100-watt light. So we have that wording plus the URLs to get to that wording at www.softlight.houston.com. I'm pretty sure that the basic problem is people think we're telling them how to light, opposite from the way people in charge of their safety are telling them. And the more we can tell the people that law enforcement agrees with us, the better.
Deborah, can you put the link in the chat to your website?
Yes, and I'm going to put the exact page, which is the education page.
Thank you.
Which has that wording.
Does anybody else have any suggestions for groups that we didn't mention? I feel like we missed a lot of groups. Like I'm thinking Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and getting involved with schools. I don't know if y'all are aware, but there's educational service districts in each, I guess, I don't know how it's actually.
And regional.
Yeah, they're regional. Okay.
Yep.
And I think we live in Austin, so it's region 13, I believe.
Amarillo's got one, Lubbock's got one.
Okay.
They're divided up like 26 or I forget how many there are.
I used to do teacher education workshops for them, astronomy education related stuff. And they have workshops and they have all kinds of programs. So just Googling your local ESD and finding out how you can present there is another option. Does anybody have any other options? I feel like there's a lot that master naturalists groups.
Right. For sure.
Another one.
I was just wondering if anyone has had any experience working with church groups. I would think they'd be a prime audience talking about spirituality, inspiration, heritage of the night, etc.
I have, but at the time it was mostly in the concept of the formation of the universe and all of that and what's in it. I didn't emphasize lighting as much, but yes, I've touched on that.
I feel like Wayne, I feel like you've had some practice in that.
Yeah, a little bit. We worked with Debbie Castro there at the Lost Creek neighborhood in Austin, and she was having some problems with the church that had built right next to their development, put these lights in it, and we were just having a heck of a time with it. And I wrote her it was a couple of page paper about why a Christian should care about the night sky. And she took it over to the church, and by George, they corrected their lighting.
Wayne, would you let us have that as a resource on the IDA Texas website?
Sure. Yeah.
If you send it to me as a PDF, or however you want to do it, we'll upload it.
Okay, I'm having computer problems tonight, so but I'll make a note and get it to you.
And I'm leaving town first thing in the morning for a couple of days. So
okay,
Amy.
Yeah,
yes.
Just
go ahead. Wayne?
Just to add in my presentation, this PowerPoint presentations that we all do, I've got a couple of slides in there about a quote out of Psalms about the skies are the glory of God to look up and see and it's manifest. And then I make a point. My little narrative there is that looking at the stars through a light polluted sky is like driving through a beautiful forest with a dirty windshield. And then I move on to the rest of the presentation. But I'll get that to you, Cindy.
Hey, you guys, I wanted Jessica to be able to introduce herself real quick because we didn't get to meet her.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Cagnelotti. I am stepping in as the liaison for the Austin Astronomical Society. So I'm glad to be here. I've been interested in IDA for the last few years. I'm a nurse, so I remember reading an article about light pollution and the effects on our health and breast cancer in particular, being a woman. So it just really kind of stuck with me. And then when this opportunity came up, I just thought it'd be really awesome to learn more and network. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Great.
Welcome. We're glad you're here too.
Hi, it's, Martha and Jamie Kinshirf. And we just wanted to say, in talking about partnerships, we partner really successfully with the parks. So there we are. We've partnered with the park and held a number of star parties and things, other events like the moon dance. So when seeking partnerships, remember the park.
Right. Which park were you dealing with, Martha?
Blue
Blue
Hole.
Hole Park in Wimberley.
Okay, very good.
I'd like to remind folks that, we do star parties for kids groups at the UBRU Camp and Retreat Center. We're in IDI Dark Sky Park. And we have an observatory. It's called the UBRU Youth Astronomical Observatory. So we've done, over the last month, we've done star parties for scouts groups, a couple of schools, actually one church group. But we're available for these things if anybody's getting in. We'd welcome any other school groups from around the hill country if they want to come. We've got a pretty nice little observatory if you want to check out our website.
Great.
Roy, once you put it, can you paste it in the chat?
Yeah, I probably can.
Okay.
You mean the website?
Yeah, the observatory website. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We're good. Amy,
Yeah.
Stephen Hummel had to leave early, but in his chat, he said, make sure that you look at the resources at the McDonald Observatory for all of the things we were talking about. So they have quite a bit of good stuff to use as well.
You guys, I have a quick question. Are you recommending at star parties that we currently share telescopes with everybody?
We do.
Okay. Because we have one upcoming on November 6th, and I just wanted to see what you guys were recommending.
You could be cautious. For example, if you're concerned, you could have folks wear a mask, or you could wear a mask. Limit the touching of the eyepiece by the individuals. Remind them, it's not good to grab a hold of the telescope. Not only for that reason, but it pushes it away or whatever. So there's a couple of things that you can do. And if you are concerned, just bring some alcohol wipes, and every once in a while, just wipe off the eyepiece.
I think that could work. Thanks. I just was wondering.
Yeah, any of that works.
Thanks.
One of the things I use for younger kids, especially because they're more likely to touch the eyepiece, and I just did this at an event we did with the Travis County Friends of the Night Sky, is if you have an observing chair that has a high back to it, I'll turn it backwards so they can kneel on the chair and put their hands on the back of the chair to steady themselves.
Yep.
And that way they don't touch the eyepiece.
Yep.
And
We
it's
do the
much
same.
easier to wipe down that chair railing.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot that one, but that's a good point. Always use your little short step ladder or whatever, so that if they have to grab on something, which most people do in the dark, right? They're unsteady or whatever, they can hold the step ladder or whatever, not the telescope.
Yeah, they have a natural tendency to want to grab that
Exactly
eyepiece.
Yep. Anything else?
I think Steve has something he wants to say. Go ahead.
When you talk about different groups you go to, I'm involved in a very small group, a gas station under development.
Oh,
And I'm looking at their plans and they just blow the light out the wazoo. So I'm in the process of making a presentation using their plans and trying to make suggestions instead of using that fixture, use this fixture. I'm about halfway through with it and I got some comments I need to put into it. But that's another group, quote unquote, if I consider that as a group, is, you know, a gas station developer.
yeah, another one is the Texas Department of Transportation. If you ever go by any of their rest stops, my goodness, it's like New York City with lights.
There's some good ideas in the chat if y'all have had a second to look. Hotels, resorts, wineries, companies, and businesses with large swaths of land and facilities. And let's see what else. Don, you had another good one in there.
Got that.
I think. And then what you just said, Steve.
Gas station developers.
Yes. Any developer, any developer.
Any new development. I just did it with a school and got them to basically cut the outdoor lighting down to 1/3 of what they originally had proposed.
That's great.
Wow.
But yeah, but how do you get to them? I mean, it's already a done deal in most cases, you know.
Well, a lot of ways, but I work through the city and know, you know, when the development's coming, but also I live in the neighborhood where the school was coming. And they had been talking with the neighbors about it because they bought one of the lots in our neighborhood. And then when it was supposed to be zoned to only be residential, they were taking it, and, you know, so it was a big mess with the neighborhood. So I played nice and got in there.
You reminded me of HOAs. If y'all live in an HOA neighborhood and, you know, I like what you said, Cindy, starting from your house out. That's a good place to start if you haven't started.
We have an HOA in Houston, which for the first time, they have bad street lighting. They have unshielded acorns. But finally, in their newsletter, their most recent one, they apparently have been getting complaints about neighbors' security lighting, and they have a mention about that, not to shine lights at your neighbor when you're building a new house. So the awareness is starting to go up.
That's so good to hear. Well, does anybody have any last comments or anything?
I have a question.
Okay.
Got my hand up here.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah. Am I missing something? Am I not seeing contact information for us on our website or Slack page?
There's
No,
definitely, there is a whole contact page. And when people fill it out, all of the directors get a copy of that email, and we, you know, whoever is, you know, the regional manager or, you know, or sometimes I will respond to it. We respond to those.
So I have to fill out a form. Is that on the Slack site or the website?
It's on the website.
Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you.
So if you go to the bottom, Frank, I just went and found it.
Okay.
Like
I'll go check it out.
Like,
Right. Thanks a lot, folks. I just missed something obvious. Appreciate it.
no. Awesome. Anybody? I don't know if anybody has anything else to add or any questions. Don has a question or comment.
I was going to say, one of the other things that I found when working with any sort of group that mentions specifically a business that maybe isn't in compliance with night sky friendly lighting, look and see if they're a chain or franchise, or specifically a chain where they might exist in another community. So for instance, I've been working with Bandera. They have an Ace hardware store that they're trying to get to not only provide night sky friendly lighting, but also be in compliance. Well, there's also an Ace hardware store in Wimberley, and Wimberley is a certified IDA city. So that's something you can point to, is if it can be done with the same store in one location, then odds are it can be done elsewhere. Also, in working with large corporations or large businesses, they will tend to have some kind of environmental system, environmental program, incentivizing program within their company. So, talking to them about night sky preservation and the benefits of it environmentally might tie into those programs, which usually have some form of funding, require some kind of accommodations and so forth. So that's somewhere to look as well.
Thank you, Dawn. That's great. Anybody else have any last comments or anything to add? I think we're pretty much, it's 7:42, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. But go ahead.
Just one last thing. It's still difficult to find the right lighting. I came a little late. I can't get it in my head. This thing starts at 6:30. But right now, people need help knowing the search terms to find good lighting online. There's very few good examples in stores. And if we don't tell them how to find it, even if we get them convinced, they'll have difficulty just simply physically finding the right lighting. And RAB has some of the best commercial lighting out right now. They're one of the few that makes a lot of 3000 K at low intensity. They're starting to look at dark sky lighting.
There are a lot of others that are making 2700 too that I like. Yeah. Back to our resources page, there is a resource called Outdoor Light Fixture Replacement Options that has, if you've got this type of old light, here are 4 different suggestions for you to replace it. And they're enough, if there's not necessarily a link to each one, but there are enough Google, there's enough information on it, specific brands, specific things that people can find those lights.
Right.
I'm looking at that. I have I went and looked at it, and you can download the link to it's a PDF or like a document, right, Cindy?
Yeah, it's a PDF.
All right, well, thank everybody for coming.
Thank you.
And I hope you know where all the resources are now, and the recording will be posted on the website. And I think the chat too, right, Cindy? I think, I'm not sure if we put the chat on there or not actually, but.
Only if it'll be on your machine because I think, but you may have to copy it and put it on your machine.
If you're configured to save your chat, what it will do is when it starts uploading the recording to your computer, it will upload a separate file.
Oh, right. Yes. That's right.
Yeah, it should do that.
Okay.
And also on the chat window, there's a dot on the lower right-hand side. You hit that and it says save.
Okay, I just did that. I might go through it and just put sum up the resources in a little document, and we'll see, or I'll save the chat. I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, it comes out kind of messy. You have to clean it up.
That doesn't sound like fun.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
That sounds good. Well, thank you all for coming, and I hope that we sent you some good resources to check out. And you'll have a good night.
Yep. Good night.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Art and Amy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye, Art.
Goodbye.
Good job, guys.